Okay, hi everybody. Cameron Goebel here. I am currently walking back from a training that I just did, and I wanted to share with you one of the exciting things that I discovered about this training and how I can show that the training worked. So basically the question that I'm trying to answer here is, how do I know that my training achieved its goals? This particular training is kind of at the tail end of a big project being rolled out by various IT departments and HR departments, especially payroll, at the university. And it's called Lobo Time. It is a time tracking system for staff and faculty, well, not so much faculty, but for staff to track their hours, and for non-exempt employees to track their leave hours, right? So it's a new system coming online. There's a lot of confusion about it. Our campus has, tens of thousands of people on it at any given day. So it's a big staff. Not all of them are staff, a lot of those are students, but we still have a very big staff, like thousands of staff on campus a day. They all want to get paid, and we want to make sure that they get paid correctly. So this Lobo Time thing is a rollout that's going to make it more efficient to track payroll issues, or to track time. There are a lot of different departments involved with this. There's the IT department, there's the payroll department, then there's this thing called the HR Transaction Center. And the training that I was delivering today was aimed at the Transaction Center. We expect that there are going to be a lot of calls coming in from staff and faculty all over the place about how to use this Lobo Time thing. And it's called Kronos also, just for, search engine optimization. This is a Kronos video. So we get a lot of calls. We're expecting a lot of calls to come in. We expect that the staff, when they have questions, will call whoever they feel like to get the answer to the question. And it may not be necessarily the right department for the kind of question they actually have. We can't train all departments to answer all questions. But what we can do is we can train those departments to recognize different kinds of questions and to understand which department handles which kind of question. All right? Let's try to cross the street without killing myself here. Okay, achievement unlocked. Okay, so the training that I did, we had to put this training together very fast. I am relatively new to the department. My role is not entirely understood by people outside of it. And my role is to help develop trainings. So when it was determined that we wanted to have a training for the Transaction Center to do triage on incoming calls and direct them to the right spot, I got tapped about a week before the actual course was going to happen. So there was a lot of really fast movement that had to happen there. And, including all the other things I was committed to that week, I also got to put together a class. Now, I had a lot of support doing that, but the class design itself was mine. I wasn't going to teach the class, and I didn't have all the information for the class. I wouldn't be capable of teaching it, for example, but I am capable of designing it, and that's an interesting point, one which I will get to in later posts. The bit is that I needed to be able to show that the training that I put together and that somebody else was going to deliver would actually provide for the needs of the learners. And so while I did work very hard to put together a really nicely structured class, having a nice structure doesn't guarantee success, and we wanted to show success. So what I did was I created a pre-post survey. All right, now it's not a skills assessment. I'm not asking people to do things or to get the right answer to something. It's more of a survey to prove that, well, to show whether or not the course was actually needed. So are we calling people in on a course for what they actually need, or are we just making work for ourselves because we think we might need it? We didn't have an answer to that question. Another question we didn't have an answer to was, does the course actually succeed in helping them do what they need to do when the Lobotime rollout comes out? So I decided to use a pre-post survey. Simple survey, 3 questions. The questions basically were about how confident do you feel doing this, doing that, and doing the other thing. And this, that, and the other thing were what the course was going to teach them how to do, right? So how confident do you feel supporting university employees with the questions that they'll have about Lobotime? How confident do you feel finding the right person or group to answer a question that's not yours? And how confident do you feel diagnosing a typical problem that we expect you to be called on and to fix? So 3 basic things. How confident are you doing things 1, 2, and 3? And then the answers that they could circle were not confident, a little confident, very confident, and totally confident. So the pre-survey and the post-survey had these exact same questions. They were even on the same sheet of paper. I'll show you what that looks like. And we gave them this sheet of paper at the very beginning. Now, you usually don't give a test out at the beginning of a course, unless you're doing a pre-test, but this is not a test. This is a pre-survey. And so it had the pre and then the post. Exact same set of questions. Top is before you take the test. Top is before you take the course. Then you take the course and then you do the bottom. And you answer the same question. Okay, how confident are you now? And what that did was it showed me a lot of things. First of all, I saw that a lot of people went from no confidence to a little confident, from either no or a little confident to very or totally. All right, that was nice to see because it told me that the workshop got them more confident at what they need to do. But it also showed me when I saw people who were circling no confidence or a little confident that the course was actually needed. They weren't confident that they could do what they were going to be called upon to do. And so the pre-post survey fulfilled 2 functions for me. All right. First, just kind of the surface level, the obvious level, it showed me that people learn things. And that's what I want to know as an instructor. But second, it also showed me from the pre-course survey, it showed me that people either didn't know that the problem existed or that they didn't know how to solve it. And I've written about this before. Creating your courses in terms of problems that your learners have and a solution that they can use is a really nice framework for getting people in seats, being appreciated as a teacher or trainer, and showing that your way of doing things works. This is something that we have a lot of trouble with as teachers and trainers. We sometimes feel underappreciated or not appreciated, or we feel like people want to meddle with our training methodology. And by doing a pre and post survey, I've got some really nice data about the effectiveness of the way I do things in class and the need for me to do them sort of on both sides of the class. By framing it in terms of, you've got a problem, here's the solution, I know I'm being appreciated as a teacher because people are looking at what I taught them and saying, hey, wow, this guy just made my life easy. Now I know what to do. So that's what I wanted to share with you, is the effectiveness of a pre-post survey. It isn't a total skills assessment or anything weird like that. It's just a tool that helps you, the teacher or trainer, get a sense of the worth of what you're trying to teach. And it helps, so that hey, I need to focus more on this, or, by by splitting it up into 3 questions that each covered a goal of the course, I could, for example, realize, hey, everybody came in very confident on this one goal. Maybe I don't need a course on it. Maybe I can drop it. Or maybe I can just, scale back what I was going to talk about and make it a refresher, just to provide context for what they really need to know. I know what they really need to know because they're not confident at it. So, pre-post surveys, I whipped the pre-post survey up in about 5 minutes, and it took me about a day and a half to design the course itself. So you can see that spending an extra 5 minutes putting together surveys, just very short, very brief, it only takes 15 or 20 seconds to do one of these surveys. The average literate adult can look at that survey. It's very sparse, just at a glance tell what's going on, and read it, circle that, and yeah, that. How much time did that take? Hardly none at all. So there are some real benefits to putting together these surveys, but the survey comes from a really good design in the first place. When you know what it is that you're trying to help your students solve, and you know that that your solution takes these different forms, and you know that your goal is to help them learn these solutions and maybe implement them, coming up with a survey for a class that you designed over the course of a day or two, coming up with a survey can take a matter of minutes, and it pays off. Now I know how to tweak my survey, or I know how to tweak my workshop. Another thing that I realized that I should have added to my survey but didn't, if I was going to do this again, which I will, I think I would add a question or two on the post-class side. I handed out a little chart at the beginning of the class that people would fill in to help them record and remember the stuff that I needed them to learn. I handed it out in form of a blank, so they would actually do the filling in. It was sort of half filled in for them, and they would fill in the other half. The other half was what was really important. I would add a question to the post-course survey. Was the handout helpful to you? Yes or no? And that would pretty much be it. There was one more thing that I wanted to add about, I forget what it was, but that would be appropriate for a post-course survey because they would have already taken the course at that point and would know what the handout was, and they would have experience with it. They would know their feelings on it. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you. Bye.